Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Bounty News Network. On today's episode, we have the Indie Ink Awards have opened up nominations. A month of Rain and Reads is well underway over at readindiefantasy.com. We have an interview with Spiffbo 7 finalist Krystle Matar where we talk about the Tainted Domain, Magic Mushrooms, Spidussy, and we play a game of Who Said That. And we'll end with some recent releases in the indie market. The Indie Ink Awards have opened up nominations for this year's competition. Now's your chance to nominate your favorite indie reads for various categories such as Best Friendship, Best Mentor Character, Best Setting, Side Character MVP, and several supporting representations in books such as Asexual or Aromantic, Asian, Bisexual or Biromantic, Black, Disability, Gay or Lesbian, and many, many more. Visit indieinkawards.com for more details and to nominate a book today. You have until November 30th to get your votes in. Both The Wishing Stone and Bounty Ink are eligible for nominations in any categories you see fit if you so desire to vote for them. Read Indie Fantasy is hosting a month-long event called A Month of Rain and Reads, as it seeks to promote self-published and indie fantasy, sci-fi, and horror. Led by Trudy Skies, Nils Odlin, and Tessa Hestarjanto. Apologies if I've mispronounced that. Several indie authors are putting together reviews, blog posts, and more, while you can interact with a daily challenge, all in the hopes of finding some great indie reads. Go check it out. And without further ado, let's hop into our interview with Krystle Matar. I am joined today by Spiffbo 7 runner-up, Lord of the Chonk, Denier of Squirts, Wrencher of Hearts, Whiskey Enthusiast, and coiner of the Best Adam moniker, Krystle Matar.
You caught me off guard with the squirts, which is like the best and one of the longest running inside jokes other than the Best Adam title. But for some reason, I wasn't expecting that one. Hi, I'm a professional.
So you've written 2 amazing books in the Tainted
Yeah.
Domain series so far, a
Yes,
few short stories, and you've written for Grimdark magazine.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a bit about your works?
Well, I'm going to start with plugging this Alchemy of Sorrow anthology, which is how we met, because you drew Zoe Badini's cover is amazing, but before we had it, you, Adam, the best Adam, drew an even better cover. and and it drew us all together as a community as we were all stressing out about this Kickstarter anthology that we were doing back in like 21 or something, or I don't know, a while ago.
I'm glad I could bring some comfort to that.
Yeah, it was fun to have jokes, and then yeah, I got the beasts over here, and I think the question was to tell you about them, which I'm really bad at. So they're they're like a gas lamp fantasy, so think like Victorian era, late 1800s. But make it very Canadian. And fellow Canadians always spot the things that make them go, I bet this was written by a Canadian. And I'm like, yeah, man. But nobody else gets it. So, and I'm actually really happy with those inside world building. It's not even jokes, it's just like insider knowledge. But it's also a fantasy plot and not entirely about being Canadian. It's actually not Canadian because it's second world fantasy, but
as a not Canadian, I can't say I caught the Canadian thing, so I'm a little left out.
That's okay. I forgive you for not being Canadian.
Thank you. I tried my hardest, but missed it by a few hundred miles.
A few hundred miles. That's all. That's not a big deal. Close enough.
All right, let's get into your books. So you've written in Tainted Domain a massive world that you're working on. Yeah. And not just size-wise or page count, but like the cultures are rich and different throughout it. Is one thing I noticed is reading. So you have like Yalesmere, where the main story takes place. And you see a bulk of the culture for now. That'll answer your question later. You see a bulk of the culture there, but then you have like the Jatavi, Kazrani, and to some extent even Tashwe, who was kind of came into that culture a bit.
Yeah.
You have the north up in the north with like Stella, and you have the side stories where you delved into it with Ishmael and Laszlo.
Yes.
Each of
Laszlo, my
these kind of
baby.
breathes so much life into your stories. Can you talk about the cultures, what you like about them, where you got like inspiration from them? Just some insight around
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like I said at the beginning that originally the world building was intended to be really Canadian, just because, I mean, it's what I'm so familiar with, but also like we have really cool landscape and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
in fantasy specifically, it tends to be very UK centric world building, and I wanted, if I was going to do it from scratch, I was going to do it Maple style, I guess. And so Yalesmere is very loosely based on Montreal of the time. And so a lot of that world building, like whether or not they have trains, or you know, the things that are going on in the city is rooted in Canadian,
Okay.
specifically Montreal. And then the like the wildlife and oh my God, what are the words I'm looking for? The flora and the fauna outside of the city when we spill out is very like Western Quebec, Eastern Ontario with the type of things that they encounter. So that was really fun for me, just on a world building um, angle of just diving really deep into the roots of this part of the country. But
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want it to be the monoculture because that's not
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Even if it's something that I'm so
Yeah.
familiar with, it's still not interesting. So, the North is, Canada, but make it Scottish. And um, the Jatabvi is like the West Coast of Canada, but make it like kind of Arab. And it's fine. It's fine. It makes perfect sense in my head. Trust me. um, well, there was like a world building reason for the Arabs to be on the north part of the faux Canada, but I'll get to that in later books, maybe.
Fair enough. You kind of hinted at this. Will we see the
Yeah.
world of Tainted Dominion expand beyond Yellsmere and the other parts of the world,
Yeah.
or into the
Yeah.
other parts of the world?
I'm really excited because the books that are out now, like it was never the original idea wasn't supposed to take this long. It was supposed to be like, okay, one book to set up how all of the big political stuff started, and then immediately we burst out into the world, and it's a lot more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm slow, and I write giant books, so the one book has turned into four books, and then yeah, they spill out into the big political stuff. And oh, I guess it's three books because the one that I'm working on now, if everything goes the way it's planned, it ends in White Crown. And then from there things get worse actually, which is not much of a spoiler because it's an ongoing series, but also it's a little, I won't say anything more than that. But
Also, all the books make things worse.
yeah, like it's me. Like it can't possibly be surprising to know that if there's more books, they're just gonna keep getting worse until until I quit. I guess I don't know.
The end is just the world blew up.
I don't think I'm gonna go that bad. I will eventually let Tashway retire, but I figure he and I will retire at about the same time, where he'll go off and I'll put down my pen and that'll be it.
It seems like you have a lot of ideas yet that are still floating around. Some maybe
Yeah.
you've definitely written a draft of the next book. Um,
Yeah, I have it here. This box. This box is my draft, and I can't even show you the first page because, by nature of being a third book in a series, the first page is
yeah,
spoilery. So
no,
hopefully the light is refracting and nobody can see any of the
it is.
writing. But
I can't
um,
see anything.
and like in my defense, it looks like a lot of paper, but it's spaced really big, and there's like giant margins on it because I do my editing by hand. So there's a lot of room
Mhm.
for writing in the margins, and yeah, so that one is. I had a beta read by Chris from Bard and Butter,
Mhm.
and he was amazing. and we spent hours talking about all the problems and the solutions. So eventually I'll be diving back into that soon.
Awesome. Is
Yeah.
it coming in longer than book two or
About
somewhere
the
in the middle?
same, about the same
About
as
the
book
same?
two. Yeah.
Well, that'll take me some time, but I'm excited.
Yeah, yeah, me too. There's a reason these take so long.
So, is there anything interesting you can tell us that is either in book three or will be coming in the future that hasn't touched the pages yet? Any little hints?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think. It's tricky because some of it's spoilery. But well, okay. So I just wrote If All Goes Well. There's going to be two anthologies that I'm placed in coming out next year. And one of them, the Book of Spores, is in a brand new world. But the other one is in the Dominion, and it takes place in like a turn of the century logging camp.
Mm,
And so, speaking of really Canadian, that was so much fun to dive into. Just like the logistics of how these guys lived out in the bush
yeah,
basically all winter long, and the ice roads, and log driving, which will spill over into the other project that I'm working on.
yeah.
Um, and so that I'm really excited to get that out one way or the other because it's for a short story it's quite long, but for a novel it's like only 20,000 some odd words. Um, so it's fun to have those little shorter pieces that are out in the world and the vibes like kind of Western, but it's a logging camp vibes were a lot of fun to work on. So I would say that that could be looked forward to.
No spoilers for it, but is there any? Or is that kind of like where in book two we see a little bit? I don't remember if they actually visited, but it was near the logging camps.
Yeah, so it
Kind of that
ties
area
in.
or somewhere else?
It is in the Dudenbrawl, so the big forest
Yeah,
outside
that's
of
what it was.
Yellsmere. And it ties in very loosely to Ozra for anybody who's read book two. Back to Alchemy of Sorrow, the original story that I wrote for that one was going to be from Ozra's point of view before he walks into Brick and Bone. Um, and him again, it was taking place in a logging camp, but it was like also a ghost story. And I wrote it, and it was too long, and Virginia was okay with it. She was great. She was great to work with. She was okay with it, but then I started getting feedback from beta readers, and all of this like all of the problems were going to be like this needs to be twice as long as what it already is, and at that point I was like, well, she said 10. This is now at 20. I'm looking at 40, or like I'm looking at a full novel, so maybe I'll just write something else. So I pulled that one and I wrote Ishmael's story instead. But that story from Ozra's point of view has always been something that like it still lives in my mind. Like I want to get
Hmm.
back to it. Um, and so as I was editing it, some characters popped up, and they were really like those unexpected characters that are so charming. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess the book's half about you now. And so for this anthology, I went even further back, and it's that set of characters, that little family, before they meet Ozra. So it's like this long domino chain that will make sense
Okay.
if I eventually publish all the work that I want to, that I have ambitions to publish. So um,
That's exciting.
yeah, the logging camp stuff is fun. It's very addictive. I keep going back to it as a thematic
Hmm.
stage for a lot of fucked up shit. What's the rating on this podcast?
You can swear.
Okay, good.
You can fucking swear.
All right, fuck yeah. Okay, let's do this. But yeah, it's a really cool backdrop for like the best and the worst of people, which is kind of my jam.
All right. So speaking of not making it to the page, there are oftentimes writers have to cut things they really don't want to. Kill your darlings.
Yeah.
I know you've talked about Toshway hanging out in your brain for years prior to
Mhm.
Brightwash becoming what it was, and Brick and Bone having to go through a lot of editing and adjustments to get where it needed to
Mm.
be. Have you ever had to cut something you really wanted to make it to the page, but you just couldn't justify it?
Yeah, so the first thing that immediately popped into my mind when you asked this question was Elwood. That's a tricky question to answer. So, can we spoiler tag it? Can we just, if you let readers know that over this small period of time, I'm going to be talking about spoilers for book 2. So if they've read book 2, they're fine, but if they haven't, they might not be.
All right,
And then you can
I'll put a skip
a
ahead
flag. Yeah, yeah,
time,
yeah.
yeah, and give them some time to skip ahead to a time
Okay,
when they know
okay.
that time.
We're putting a break in here as this question does contain some slight spoilers to book 2. For ease of being able to avoid it, I have moved the question to the end of the interview, where it will hopefully be more easier for you to be able to dodge it, if you don't want to hear it. Otherwise, enjoy the next question.
All right, so focusing a little bit more so, we see that people focus on their talents into specific areas of interest. We have Stella, who's a healer.
Mm.
I hope I don't mispronounce this. It's Glayan.
Glenn, yeah.
Controls kind of fire. He's like a lamplighter, I believe.
Yeah.
And then Jason's just an atomic nuke. Can anyone
Most
can
accurate
anyone with
description.
can anyone with talent do anything? Any of the focuses if they try, or are they kind of developed into a lane based on how they either develop their talent or just like what they know naturally?
So it's kind of yes and and we'll definitely get to see that like come to play as books progress, where the authority forces their focus really
Okay.
strictly. Like they force a focus and a purpose, and it's like a muscle memory where um, a blacksmith will have one shoulder, one arm that's a lot stronger than the other. That like
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. And the longer you focus, the stronger that ability gets, but also the harder it is to break out of that. Like it changes their personalities to suit, and it's
Okay.
really, it hooks into who they are. And so that's how you get the lamplighter in Brightwash that kind of goes off a bit, where the focus broke him a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and he went kind of on the burning spree. Whereas a more natural education, a more well-rounded education, allows you to do more and be more. Um, and there is, like, in a better education on talent, they would hopefully warn you against focusing too much, so that you don't break your brain. But the authority values them as tools, so they don't get that opportunity. But there are limits, of course, like the willpower and the actual the baseline ability is limited to who the person is, but the authority makes that worse, which was why it was so much fun to write.
So super quick, yes or no? Will we
Yeah.
ever see someone who has the ideal talent training? See how it should have function.
Yes. 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 Now,
Have we seen someone?
um, he's been mentioned, so he'll arrive where he's had a more even education out of sheer stubbornness and spite. He's rejected the authority.
Now some super easy questions. Who is the easiest character to write for you, and who
Ishmael.
is the hardest? Oh, that looks
Ishmael.
easy.
Ishmael's the easiest, but that also makes him the hardest because my God, that boy can babble, and then I'm stuck with like way too many words and way too many sex scenes and like so many words that we have to cut. He's the easiest, right? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about him. I think it's just his willingness to be the center of attention that comes through.
That's
And then the flip side, the hardest was Jason. He's so hard to write. He's my ornery,
kind of the
spiteful.
exact opposite of Ishmael, so that makes sense.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's true. He's just spiteful and just he's so stubborn and so standoffish that I do find him hard to write, and where it's like I'll have to think about like, but how do you feel for days on end? Like, I'm the boss. I should be able to be assigning this shit to him, but no, it doesn't work that way. But in the third book, he's been a lot easier for plot reasons. So that has been exciting to work on with him, where it's like, all right, I let you blah 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 mumble mumble spoiler spoiler, and now you'll talk to me. Okay, I see how it is.
Just need to give him more to do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that is part of it, where like being in prison makes it a little tough to want to talk about your problems. So I'll give him that, but the hardest is still Jason, even when it's a little easier to write him.
What is your favorite scene you've written so far?
Ooh, favorite scene. Um, Anytime Davik's swearing at people. is, is high on the list because he is so funny. He's like an out of body experience where like he'll say shit to people that he's smarter than me. Like I never would have come up with that. But there's some stuff in the forest in Brick and Bone, like the stuff with Stella and Ozra, specifically. It's specifically the one where Ozra's riding and along the ridge, which I think is vague enough that
Mm-hmm.
isn't a spoiler. So he's riding along the ridge, and it's an extended battle scene. God, like that stuff hit me somewhere primal, where like I think I like writing westerns, and because of that, I've got all these logging camp western vibe stories on the go because of him, and
It
that
awakens
just
something in you.
yeah, absolutely.
If you were dropped into your books, any of your books, where would you thrive the most?
Where would I thrive? Um, is anybody thriving? I
So
think,
the logging camps?
yeah,
Obviously.
yeah, yeah. They feed them. They feed them 2 or 3 times a day. But also, it's like the dead of Canadian winter. So maybe not. Where would I thrive? I think up north in Krystle. Like that's kind of the city of my soul. It's like it's kind of got these Ottawa vibes with the canal, but it's like super Scottish coded with the mountains and the whiskey
Yep.
culture, and like I just feel like it's a really good intersection of like if I had to choose, I'd make my way up that way because Yellowsmore's got some shit.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
don't want to get involved. Thanks.
The answer is not Yalesman
Yeah,
at
not
all.
Yellowsmere. I know too much now. Like I can't. But I haven't written anything about Koenig, so it's still got like that shiny idealist patina, or not patina, that's the opposite. The shiny coating of like, it's all just a mystery, and it's Scottish, and there's whiskey. It must be great.
All right, to go a little bit into the future of things, what writing projects are you currently working on that fans can get excited about? You
Yeah,
already talked about your 2 short stories a little bit that were coming out.
yeah. So the two anthologies, both of them, I'm really excited about, and so the other one is going to be, like I said, it'll be in the Dominion and the Dunenbrawl. But then the Book of Spores is going to launch like my other world. That's
That with Frankie and Hugo.
yes. So that's the 1920s Prohibition era gangster crime novel. But instead of just plain booze, they're smuggling like this magic infused alcohol, and the magic is based on like literal magic mushrooms, and also there's dragons. Just because I felt like it. And that one has been so much fun to work on and so weird, and like I'm just kind of throwing everything at it, and somehow it's working, and I'm really digging it. So in the Book of Spores, it's Frankie as a young person, and as a 14-year-old, the first time he robs a bank, because it's a crime novel. It felt right. Um, and even that was fun, like doing the research for the car for the getaway driver, where at the time he was robbing banks, they didn't have like mechanical windshield wipers. They were all hand powered windshield wipers. So you had to like there was like a gap in the windshield and you had to
Mhm.
squeegee your windshield. Or there was one that was like somebody tried to get a patent on one that had like a crank, so you would crank it and it would pump it back
Oh,
and
okay.
forth. And like just imagining like this bank robbery going on, and they're trying to like squeegee their own windshield. I was like, this has to go in the story. This is canon now. So that one has been really fun to work on, and it eventually I'll finish the actual novel that takes place when Frankie's a grown adult and still very much a criminal. Um, and I
Super quick question.
okay.
You talked about doing research for the like the robbing banks and stuff. No cops listen to this,
Yeah.
so can you tell us if
Well,
this is
unless
if
PL
your
listens
research
to it and
involves?
then I'm busted. I've only done internet research, PL. I
Okay,
haven't done any practical
wink,
research
wink.
of bank robbery. Yeah, yeah. I'm not aware of or participated in any bank robberies in the recent past. This is my legal disclaimer.
Anything else on the docket?
Otherwise it's going to be Ash and Stone, yeah. Ash and Stone, so the third book, and also that Ozra novel that's been holding in a holding pattern. That either I'll do Frankie and then Ozra and then go back to Ash and Stone, or maybe I'll do Ash and Stone next. I'm not sure because I'm in that funny period right after finishing a couple projects where it's like I could do everything or I could do absolutely nothing. I'm not sure. I don't know
Yeah,
yet.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in that spot too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and because you launched a book, and that like amplifies the feeling of like, now what do
Yeah,
I do? I have so
Bounty
much
Ink
time.
launched
Yeah, yeah.
14 days ago, and then
Congratulations, by the
thank
way.
you. And then I finished draft 2 of Game 3, and Sarah just
Nice.
read that, so I'm like at this weird holding pattern
Yeah, the holding pattern
before I
is
go back.
such.
All right, so you ruined my next question by getting into. I was gonna ask about a little bit more about your upcoming anthology for Book of
Yeah,
Spores, which will release later this week when it airs.
yeah,
Because this will air this week of. So instead, I'll ask specifically about kind of the world of your story. You have dragons in
yeah,
it, and sound, and this causes mayhem every time.
yeah.
How many legs and how many wings?
Oh, listen, I have an excuse, okay? I have a card. There's a world building reason for the four legs and the no wings. And you're just gonna have to trust me and read the book, okay? Leave me alone.
Can they still fly with no wings?
um yes. Listen, so I really fucked myself over on this one because I threw in the dragons and then I was like, there's got to be like a world building reason for the dragons to be here because otherwise the world is very much our world, other than like the magic mushrooms. So I came up with this world building reason that links them directly to the magic mushrooms, but the characters don't know it, so it's all like spoilery. So I can't even like talk about the dragons that I created, that I slaved over. So there's
Just
reasons.
trust.
Yeah, just trust. Listen. We're diving into a world where the magic is fueled by psychotropic mushrooms, okay? Things are gonna be different. Just it's fine. Everything's fine. Just get a guide, you'll be fine.
For Game 3, I threw a dragon into it,
Nice.
and it was right around the one of the like, arguments about how many legs and wings they should have.
Yeah.
So I said screw it and gave it 6 legs and 2
Nice.
wings.
Yeah, see?
Dragon. I'm like, I'm gonna
They
have
can
fun with
argue we can do hallucinogens. It's
it. Yeah.
fine. It's fine. It all
All
comes
right.
out in the wash.
So we've spent a lot of time talking about your writing, and it's clear you're very passionate about it. But let's shift gears a little bit and learn more about you specifically. What are some things you're passionate about outside of writing?
Um, I like knitting. That's such a weird. I feel like it's almost the anticlimactic answer after talking about psychotropic dragons. Um, I really dig fiber arts. I do a lot of knitting and crochet. Um, I crocheted like this giant mushroom cap hat for my 8-year-old for
Ooh,
Halloween
well,
because
that's
she
fun.
She wants to go as a mushroom for Halloween, and her dad bought her a hat, but like the way she was imagining it in her mind, she was thinking it was going to be big, but the hat is like it's a toque, like it's meant to be just like it's meant to
Hmm.
fit her head. And like she was emotionally devastated by this non-giant mushroom hat, but she's at that age where she's like higher awareness of her devastation, and she's like, I can't flip out. I have to not lose my shit. And so she was trying so hard not to flip out. So I was like, okay, Ellie, I'm gonna try. Okay, I'm gonna try to crochet a mushroom for you, and it worked. And she's
That's
so
awesome.
happy. And like I have new calluses on my fingers because of this mushroom cat, but it was so worth it because she was so happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I see she's getting your love of all things mushroom.
Oh yeah, like she's into it like even harder than I am. Like I was like trying to talk through some world building stuff about like mushroom spores with my husband, and Ellie was like, "Actually, that's not how it happens." And I was like, oh, "Okay,
Let's go
okay,
to the expert.
educate me." Yeah. So like I almost don't even know. Like it's a bit of chicken and egg situation with me and her. Like I can't pinpoint the moment where she got into mushrooms at this in the same way that I can't exactly pinpoint the moment that I decided that mushrooms were going to be like a major player in my next world building. So I don't know. Maybe we're connected on the in the mycelium. Like we're already sporing. I don't know.
And what is your favorite whiskey? I know you're a big
Ooh,
whiskey fan, so hit us with what your fave is, or
my
a few.
fave. I really dig like a Bruichladdich, the classic laddie in the blue bottle with the white writing.
Hmm.
Although it's unpeated, so it's like my easy drinker of like I want a whiskey, but I don't want to have to like experience it as deeply. I'm trying to think what the really good peated whiskey. Oh man, I had a Welsh whiskey that was really good too. It's called Penderyn. It's a beautiful whiskey. The lovely Mahir over at Fantasy Book
Hmm.
Critic gave us a bottle of Highland Park, and that sucker was aggressively peated. I'm gonna experience this whiskey drink. So thank you, Mahir. We just finished the bottle last week, a week or two ago, and I'm growing the plant out of the bottle. It seemed right. It seemed
Well,
right
that's
to keep the
cool.
bottle. It was a gift from a friend. Like I couldn't throw it
Yeah.
out. So I think like I'm whiskey polyamorous is what it is. Like there's a
there's
lot of ones that I can think of
there's enough
that
love to go around.
oh yeah. There's ample whiskey appreciation.
All right, I had a few community questions for you. Will there
Uh-oh.
be any Spidussy in your future books?
I mean, I'm writing the psychedelic one, so who knows? Maybe. I won't say no. Let's not rule it out, just in case. Forgot about that question.
I never forget about it. All right,
Amazing that you had a rack for it. It's like,
it's
I
one of the
got you.
weirdest things that I'm ready for at a moment's notice.
Dude, that needs, okay, that needs to be like, you need to form a question around that somehow for future guests of like, what is the one random weirdest thing that you can tell people like at the drop of a hat? And as
Yeah.
my example is the spider sex in Saga. I can anytime that comes up in a conversation, which is more often than you'd think, I
Which is
have
weirdly
recommendations.
twice.
Oh, more than that. It started with Shelob because like in one of the Lord of the
Oh yeah,
Rings
it did
games, I
happen a few
guess
times.
yeah, I guess you can bang Shelob, and so it started this whole thing of like, is
Oh
she
yeah.
spider when you bang her or not? And I mean it was Twitter back in the day, so there were a lot of people like, I'd bang the spider. Why not?
All right, next question comes from you.
Oh great.
What's
That
the weirdest
hustle.
thing you can drop in a moment's notice?
Oh man, but I'm trying to prep for that weird question. I mean, all of the weirdest things that I can drop probably comes from like Twitter lore of the weird banana shit we used to joke about, like Spidussy, which has come
You
up
have
so many times now.
in-depth knowledge of the history of the Spidussy.
Yeah, the conversation revolving around Spidussy that we've discussed numerous times, and we've all decided that, like, yeah, why not?
All right. Actual next community question. Do you find there's a moment in your writing that really propels your motivation forward, or do you tend to write your books at a pretty consistent level of motivation? Like,
Ooh,
is there
I
kind of like
am.
a tipping point?
Yeah, no, I'm not consistent. I'm not consistent at all. So if I have time to think about what I'm gonna write, that's when I have a lot of momentum. If I was able to brainstorm, like, I kind of sketch scenes out in my head where, like, I
Mm-hmm.
know the beats and I know some of the conversations and I know why I'm going there and, like, who's all gonna be in there. And so then if I do that, I can sit down, I can write, and I can write really consistently for a really long period of time. But as soon as I fail to do that, either I'll forget how important it is, like I'll get too comfortable, and I'll forget how important it is, or like life, sickness, whatever it is. Once I fail to do that for a couple of days in a row, then I'm like, I'm in trouble, and then I can't write anymore. So kind of like I have to be obsessed in a
I
way that it's
totally
like,
get it.
yeah, and like every spare thought, it's like, okay, I'm gonna put cucumbers in the kids' lunch today, and also Tasha needs to do that scene with those people. And like if I'm obsessed and it's taking up most of my brain space, um, my momentum is great. When I lose the obsession and I function as a normal human being, then I can't write anymore. So
Confirmation. You just need to
yeah,
be crazy to be a writer.
yeah, exactly. Take that as you will. The answer is you have to be nuts. But also for me, it definitely proves like it's not the writing every day that's important. It's the knowing my story that's important. And
Mm-hmm.
if I can think every day, then I can finish my book. If I can't think about it, if I don't have time or the brain space or the obsession with a story, it's not going to happen. Like it doesn't matter if I put my ass in the chair for 3 hours a day. If I don't know what I'm writing, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to be on Twitter
Yeah.
or whatever it is that we're on now these days. Blue Sky, that's the one. But if I can think about writing every day, then I'm really consistent.
Yeah, I find that like if I didn't write for a couple of days, but I thought about what I wanted to write,
Yeah,
I can just like hammer it out really well.
yeah,
But if I don't focus on it, don't think about it, I come, I sit and stare at my computer, and I'm like, now what?
yeah,
Like I forgot the
exactly.
English language or something.
Yeah, exactly. And like there doesn't seem to be much of a cheat for it in my brain yet. Like sometimes I can get myself there, but it's gonna be a pretty low word count.
Hmm.
And it's probably gonna involve rereading what I already wrote and like all that kind of futzing around, which always feels like such a waste of time. So, but if I can think about it and I know what I'm gonna write, and I know that, this is the next set of beats, then I'm good.
Next community question: how have you been?
That's such a disarming question that like I'm almost uncomfortable because this is just so kind and nice. Who asked that, fucking asshole?
I think it was Ryan House.
Was it Ryan? That's
Yeah.
sweet. That of course it was. Um, you know what? We had some dark times in the Matar Skull for a bit, but finishing those two short stories, like the first one, the logging camp one, that one taught me that it's like I can come back from that dark point and I can finish something, and that was really healing. And then finishing the bank robbery one, I was like, I can keep writing and have fun, and I can keep doing this, and I'm gonna be fine actually. And so finishing those two back to back was really was like breathing again, which
Mhm.
sounds so melodramatic, but it's what we do as a community. It's fine.
You
We
have
don't.
to be a writer.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
important.
You got to be deep in those feelings like all the time, and then it ends up on the page. Um, so yeah, doing those two was really great. And so now with the weird restless energy, I'm just kind of fussing around with the full novel of Frankie and Hugo.
Mm.
Specifically Hugo's sections. I'm coming back to stuff that I drafted like I don't know, like a year ago, maybe more. And it's neat to see already how much my understanding of him has deepened and how much his voice has changed. And so that's that continuation of like I can actually do this. I do actually know what I'm doing and know how to write books. I'll be fine actually. So
That's awesome. I'm glad it's going better.
yeah,
Um,
me too.
just a note for everyone. Just tell yourself you can
Yeah.
figure it all out.
Yeah,
Just
and
give yourself some
I
wins.
think it is normal as creative people for us to
Yeah.
have these fallow periods where, our fields aren't doing much or the well runs dry or whatever really flowery earthbound metaphor you want to go with. And it's normal and it's okay. And it does usually feel like the end of the world when you're in the middle of it, you know, but then you pull out of it and it's okay. And being at peace with that would help us a lot, but I don't think we're very good at being at peace with things. So it's kind of like a catch-22, maybe. I don't know.
I feel like every year I have about a month to a month and a half where it's
Yeah,
just nothing gets done. It'll hit me at some random point, nothing will get done.
yeah.
And to finish off the community questions, what is your favorite question you've been asked? I'll be sad if it's
Hmm.
not one I've asked you.
Um, I I hate this question. How's that for
Not
um
this one.
any question that allowed me to talk about psychotropic mushrooms or Ishmael were the good ones. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just enjoying this. So all of them, I'm gonna cop. I'm gonna cheap out. I'm gonna say all of them.
So we'll move along then. At the end of each of these, I like to play a little game. I say as this is the first episode.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. The games that we brainstormed together. Yeah, I'm ready.
yeah.
I'm excited to find out which ones you picked.
All right. So this game is called "Who Said That,"
Oh fuck.
and I chose 10 quotes
Oh god damn it.
from
Okay.
from
Why did I?
across your published works. You said this is the one you felt you'd be best at.
Yeah, no. Quote me properly. I said the least potential for embarrassment because it
Oh
only
no!
got worse. But
Don't
yeah,
worry.
let's do it.
You do have a helpline, so I will give you the quote. I will read it straight. There's no dialogue takes. It's just dialogue from someone.
Okay.
There might be a redacted person or place if I felt like it might have given too much away. But I think that's only one question, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Um, but you can ask for me, and I'm gonna regret this, to act it out. I will
That's
put
so
on
much
my
power.
I will put on my DM voice. I have about 4 of them that will hopefully narrow down at least maybe gender. Um, but you might get tone out of it. We'll see.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll
Yeah.
help. I haven't
Okay.
tried these.
How
I
many
haven't
how many
practiced.
accents can you do?
Yeah. I have my woman voice, old man
Okay.
voice, um, ambiguous voice, and then my own voice. So we'll see how it goes. I'll try my best.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, there's 2 redacteds. My bad.
Oh shit.
Uh, it's a long walk up the mountain. Redacted.
It's a long walk up the mountain. That's I bet that's in Paperweight Watch. And it's either Ishmael talking to Mr. Sand or vice versa. but now I want to hear you act it out.
The
You should not have offered that. I'm going to make you do that for every single quote.
worst part is like, so you're right about Paperweight Watch, but this is
Yes.
the first story I've read about you or read from you.
Right.
When we got Alchemy of Sorrow, and I do not remember the exact context. I do not know what the tone is. So all you get is
I mean, if it's in Paperweight Watch, the tone is petulant or sad, because
it's a long walk up the mountain, redacted.
yeah, I think that's Ishmael speaking to Mr. Sand, and he's being
That is
catty and bitchy because Mr. Sand said something like, "Oh, you were gone a long time," or "You're too skinny," or something along those lines. Here I am flipping through it to see
correct.
if I can find it. Yes,
It is 316 of Alchemy of Sorrow, page 316.
360. See, I couldn't even remember what place I was in this book, but I know my bitch when I hear him. So,
Of course I read it. I have it memorized. I could record it word for word if you like.
uh-oh. Of course I read it. Oh, that's Ilya talking to Mallory about the train line.
Yep. Spot on.
Yep.
Redacted. You finally brought your baby. She doesn't look too
Oh,
pleased.
yeah, that's Tashaway talking to Beckett. In the first chapter, that was easy because it's in the first
That
chapter.
is the very first line of dialogue in Brightwash.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I had to throw that in there.
I mean, you read the first chapter so many times
Yeah.
that it's burned into your brain, or your brain is protecting you and you can't remember a single word.
Not all that long ago, you said you'd rather die than carry paperwork, even if they were forgeries.
Laszlo. No. Somebody speaking to Laszlo. Vasquez speaking to Laszlo about Laszlo getting forged paperwork for the Pugilist Club.
Yep, spot on. Look at you go.
Yeah. I forgot to make you act them all out, goddamn.
You're getting them so fast you don't need the acting.
Yeah. Making you act the next one. Next one.
In the winter, when it's cold and wet, they ache.
Oh. In the winter. We're acting. In
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 the
the winter.
winter, when it's cold and wet, they ache.
Okay, so it's a male voice.
I
I
do have a little help with the audiobooks. I'm hoping I got it close.
yeah. You're going up against Paul, I don't know. Um in the I don't know. Is it Lauren talking about one of his injuries?
Yep.
Is it really? Oh, okay.
Yep. I think it's his knuckles
Oh yeah.
or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, it's one of his injuries.
Yeah, yeah, when they're doing the rundown for the Pugilist Club. At first I was thinking Rodrishi, but you almost got me on that one.
You have to say it. Don't be a coward and make me guess. If it's what I think it is, you have to fucking say it.
That's Jason.
Yep.
Jason talking to Lauren about his mother, I think.
Yep.
Yep.
Spot on. You're doing awesome so far. Or
It
just
must
over
be.
halfway.
I got a passing grade.
Hey, you seen a kid around here?
What? Is that the line?
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, that's Laszlo. That's my baby homicide baby in baby teeth.
Yep.
He's doing his act where he's looking for his baby brother.
Yep.
It doesn't go well. Sorry, Laszlo.
Usually when someone fires mortars, you can smell it for a while.
That's Mallory in the Dune and Brawl after they've gone looking for spoilers. Butcher spoilers. That's oh, circling back to favorite scenes to write, Joshua in the forest at the beginning of Brick and Bone. I
I think
think,
I remember you talking about that as a
yeah.
enjoyable scene to write.
I don't know why I forgot about it when you actually asked me the question, but like that one was like, even in early drafts, I kind of knew I had something good with those ones. And then adding Ishmael to it made it so much better. Sucker. Okay.
All right, 2 more to go. Let's see if you can 100%. Sometimes all it takes is to help someone get to their feet, and then the North Star guides them to where they're meant to be.
That's Stella speaking to Carradwin after the market fire about the woman that they helped.
Yep, spot on.
Watch me fall on my face on the last one. Then I'm all
It's
cocky.
actually one I felt might be a little hard.
Oh shit!
Though
He
the
was
acting might be able to give it away. We'll see. I didn't
okay.
even redact the name. So,
Oh, oh boy.
yes, Lieutenant Mahalawan.
Oh god. So it's somebody talking to Gaz. Yeah, okay, act it out, Adam.
All right, let's see. Got to get into scene.
Get into character, yeah.
Yes, Lieutenant Mahalawan.
Oh, is it Carradwin?
I was going to say the acting was going to give that one away for
Yeah, yeah.
sure.
Thank God for the acting, because otherwise I was boned. Like, cause there's so many options. Yeah, is it? I mean, she says it a lot in Brick and Bone in the forest, but it could be at the end of Brightwash, I think.
It was so I was going for a kind of a petulant tone.
So then it was Brick and Bone. Carradine is sick as shit in Brick and Bone. It's like
uh,
she hits
it was
she
when
hits
they
a
were
threshold in that one.
scouting out the inn.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah. Okay. There you go. 100%.
Yeah, good job, 100%. I don't know if I made it too easy or if I need to not act in the future. Um,
Well, I mean, in your defense, I've reread them a lot, so
yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
I'm like, this was either gonna be like I should have had Sarah try this game on me at one point to see how well I would do, but it's fun. It was
It is
fun
fun.
anyway.
It is fun because, like, the moment of panic when I'm not sure is like a little bit of an adrenaline rush.
So I like to end the episode with a shout out to a fellow creative. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out today?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I've got to shout out Adrian Gibson for the amazing work that he's been doing, putting the Book of Spores Kickstarter page together, and then along with him is Fraser in the background and Eleni in the background as well are doing a really cool thing with this anthology with everybody else at Fanfi Addict. So I'm gonna cheat and like shout out a whole blog because yeah, it's been really cool to be a part of it, and I'm so appreciative of them for waiting for me while I kind of like lost my mind a little bit over the summer and didn't get anything done. But also like helping Adrian is a one-man army, but like giving him my limited advice and experience with Kickstarter was
Mhm.
really cool. Um, and watching him like just churn out the marketing machine has been really educational for me. Like it's like, okay, I've got a to-do list now the next time I actually have a book. And even if I do a fraction of the work that he's done, there's a lot there to learn. So Adrian's pretty awesome.
Be sure to check out Book of Spores,
Where
Kickstarter.
did I put his book? I have it.
Oh,
Not Book of Spores,
check
but
out
also
Mushroom Blues as
Mushroom
well.
Blues. Yeah.
It has mushrooms in it.
Yeah, it
Shockingly
does.
enough. But
Spore
check out
Daddy.
Book of Spores, launching on Kickstarter Thursday, November 13th, right?
Yeah,
Still time to be excited to walk back it.
absolutely.
Unless you're listening to this late, then you can just back it
Yeah.
instead of just pre-excitement for it. thank you so much for joining me in my inaugural episode. I
Well,
hope everyone listening has enjoyed it as much as I have. Can you tell us where to find you if people are interested in your books and writing?
yeah, well, I mean, thank you for having me and letting me come on and test this out with you. That was a lot of fun.
Very
And
much appreciated for Ryan.
and then yeah, so mostly, I mean, I'm on most of the social media platforms now. So you can come follow me. Fortunately, my name is spelled like it's kind of an unusual combination of spelling and names. So if you search at Krystle Matar at most social media platforms, you'll find me specifically. But I'm most active on Blue Sky and Threads. And Brick and Bone and Brightwash are both available wide, so I'm not beholden to Amazon anymore, which means I'm making less money. So please go buy my books on any platform that you choose because they're on all of them now. Well, not all of them, but there's enough. There's enough platforms there. Um,
I
and
also highly recommend the audiobooks as well.
yes,
Those are
yeah,
very fun.
yeah. If you're an audiobook lover, then I lucked out with Paul and Felicity. They are both like powerhouses of voice
You should-
actors. And like Paul does Lauren's really petulant voice really well, but he also does Laszlo's Cajun accents. It's like it's so
Mhm.
buttery and beautiful. And he does Davik's swearing like so perfectly. And then
I
Felicity
can
has been what's
I can
that?
still just like hear their voices,
Oh
if
yeah.
like just like randomly or whatever. If I when I was looking for quotes, I would read them and I could just
Yeah.
hear it in their voices.
Yeah, and like it's changed how I write, like not probably not in the drafting phase, but in the revision phase, like when I'm working on voice and stuff, I can hear like how Paul would probably
Mhm.
deliver the lines, and so it's like it's definitely changed how quickly I can find the voices for each characters when I'm doing my revisions, just because they're
Mhm.
so good. And Felicity, um, there's a scene in Brick and Bone where she's doing Caradon and Stella, and like the emotion that she's delivered through Caradon, like I can't listen to it all the way through. Like I have to pause it and like have a little cry because like she's so good, and then I put it back on and traumatize myself through the rest of the scene. Um,
Just
so
getting a
yeah,
taste of what you put everyone else through.
I mean, I guess so, and that's my job, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so if you're an audiobook connoisseur, then definitely we've got Brightwash and Brick and Bone audio. We also have Alchemy of Sorrow on audio. Um, I'm not sure the availability of it because that was not my. It's under Virginia's publishing, but I think she's got it available wide. I don't remember. I don't remember. I'm gonna bail out of that recommendation. It's on audio somewhere. Yeah, and then also I'm over at Grimdark Magazine doing some reviews and also some columns, which is super surreal. Like doing columns over at Grimdark Magazine is like a pretty cool job. Um,
Yeah, that's fair.
what else do I do? I guess that's it for now. Hopefully we'll get the Dripping Bucket open for business again now
It's
that I'm
just
done
having
losing my
renovations
mind.
right now.
Yeah, it's having renovations. It's closed for renovations. It's for the kitchen. It got too bad. There were too many bodies piled up back there.
It's just a little mopping. Just
Yeah. It'll be fine.
right. Well, thanks again for having me or
Thank
having
you so
coming on.
much.
Oh my,
Yeah.
thanks, thanks again for coming on.
You've been the guest too many times, and
Yeah.
now you don't remember how to host.
And now for a return to the spoiler question.
All right. So speaking of not making it to the page, there are oftentimes writers have to cut things they really don't want to. Kill your darlings.
Yeah.
I know you've talked about Toshway hanging out in your brain for years prior to
Mhm.
Brightwash becoming what it was, and Brick and Bone having to go through a lot of editing and adjustments to get where it needed to
Mm.
be. Have you ever had to cut something you really wanted to make it to the page, but you just couldn't justify it?
Yeah, so the first thing that immediately popped into my mind when you asked this question was Elwood. That's a tricky question to answer. So can we spoiler tag it? Can we just, if you let readers know that over this small period of time, I'm going to be talking about spoilers for book 2. So if they've read book 2, they're fine, but if they haven't, they might not be.
All right,
And then we can
I'll put a skip
a
ahead
flag. Yeah, yeah,
time,
yeah.
yeah, and give them some time to skip ahead to a time.
Okay.
Near
Okay.
that time.
Okay. So who I immediately thought of was Stella's sister, Elwyn, and she is talked about in Brick and Bone. So it's not a spoiler that she exists, but in Brightwash, it's unclear whether or not she exists. So
Mm-hmm.
in the original version of Brightwash, Stella dies when Sirius attacks her, and then it was so horrible, like it was so
Yeah.
depressing that I was like, I hate working on this book. This is awful. And so a couple of revision rounds later, she didn't anymore, and she keeps on living, and everything in Brick and Bone happens instead. But the plan was always going to be that after she dies, her sister comes looking for her because Tashway sends the death notice, to her family. And so Aelwyd was originally in the draft of Brick and Bone, and she's a great character, and she was so dynamic, and there was like a really fun romance with Ishmael specifically that like I could have written those two like a whole series of books just because like just their charisma and
Mm-hmm.
how connected they were. But the longer I worked on it, trying to make it fit that she was there even though Stella hadn't died and there was like kind of no reason for her to know to come down, the
Yeah.
more it's like I'm just gonna have to let this go. Like her being in the city at this moment and her having this extended romance with Ishmael, like it just doesn't make sense. And so I took her out of Brick and Bone, and she still exists in the world. Like she still will come onto the stage at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Probably about the fourth book in. But as a result of taking her out, like Ishmael is a different character, and
That's fair.
Tashaway is different, and and so like all of these knock-on effects of her just not being there. And Stella lives. Like that was a good decision, but it was
I
so
agree.
painful to let that go. But it didn't make sense for her to be there, and coming up with all these convoluted reasons for how she would know to come was impacting the story negatively. And like I was
Mm-hmm.
doing this death spiral, and things just kept getting worse and worse every time I tried to fix it. And so at some point I just had to step back and be like, it's her. It's she just doesn't belong anymore, unfortunately. So I had to take her out. And that was when I knew that I would do anything it takes for the story. So long
That's
as it makes the arc better, I'm willing to cut any character, any romance, any sex scene, no matter how good it was. If it, in the interest of the story, it is sometimes worth it. But the alternative to kill your darlings is make them so important that they have to be in the story, and that's what
yeah.
I was trying to do, and I have done it successfully for other things. But my big failure there was Aelwyd the story arc. So
The first draft I ever wrote, I had removed a character at about the 80% mark.
oh god,
Like a
it's so
main character,
painful. Yeah,
a
is that for
POV, because it was
Bounty?
so
Yeah.
useless. No, actually, it was what is
Oh, like,
slowly turning into like a horror sapphic Aladdin story.
oh, cool.
Um, but I don't have time to write that one, so it's just exists. Whatever it
Yeah,
was, it's gonna be written from scratch now. But
yeah. It's
yeah.
such a painful decision to make. Like realizing that it's not working and there's nothing you can do
Hmm.
to fix it. Like it's almost like a mourn. Like you have to go through the stages of grief and
Yeah.
just like
Yeah, it's just like you know, I'm like, you haven't done anything for 80% of this book. You're not gonna do anything for the 20% after.
yeah, 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 yeah. You wear the black veil and you go to the little funeral, and then But you learn something about yourself as a writer when you have to do that, and oftentimes they are really good lessons.
Yeah. It helped me realize that I shouldn't put useless characters in POV spots. I should have a
Yeah,
plan for them.
yeah, yeah. That does help. That does help eliminate that problem.
Are you looking for a new read? Here are some indies that are releasing this month of November. The Rings of Mars by James B. Lynch. Lucky Norwood is stuck working Christmas Eve. Her holiday plans and her life change forever when the mysterious Demon King shows up in her office and reveals the true inner workings of her employer's plans on Mars. That released on November 1st. The Chosen One Con by Trudy Skies. A televised contest of mages to find the chosen one in a world of designer enchantments and celebrity branded potions. The crowdfunding campaign for this launches on November 12th. Wave Lord, Daughter of Vanris, Book 3 by Nikki McCormick. After the trauma of the last several months, Vale is determined to help resolve the rising conflict that threatens Vanris and the people she loves. Before her enemies make their move, she must master the chaos spiraling around her or risk losing everything. Coming out November 13th. Riati Ripple by Kai Zeal. Riati Ripple is the third book in a new adult/adult contemporary low dark fantasy series that seeks to explore themes of identity, legacy, generational trauma, and finding your own path in life. Coming out November 14th. The Snatcher by Amanda N. Newman. Skabor Sarid was just trying to do his job as a bounty hunter for the dark side in a magical war. Harlan Kodiak was just a first-generation inborn magic user trying to prove her worth by joining an elite guild, even if it puts a price on her head. In this deadly game of hunters and the hunted, nowhere is safe. Coming out November 19th. Soar in the Wind by Niranjan, an omnibus of 3 queer firsts in a series high fantasy including prequels. That releases November 27th. Thank you again for listening to the first ever episode of Bounty News Network. I hope you enjoyed your time, and I look forward to having you join us next time, where I interview A.C. Cross, author of such stories as Where Blood Runs Gold, The Boddicker Letters, and Robocopter Ski Patrol. If you've enjoyed this podcast and would like to support it, you can do so by joining my Patreon, where episodes will drop early for you. Not to mention the many other rewards, such as a monthly serial set in Bounty Inc. universe, sneak peeks at my current works in progress, and pictures of my pooch. You can find it at patreon.com/Adam Holcomb. If subscribing isn't your jam, you can always buy my books, where both the Chronicles of Gam Gam series and Bounty Inc. are available on Kindle Unlimited or purchasable as ebooks from Amazon. Physical copies can be purchased as a signed bundle straight from my website or otherwise where books can be sold. Be sure to check out bountyinc.com, that's N-I-N-K, for the latest news on this podcast and my other endeavors. Until next time, happy hunting.